So today for early morning meds, we'll be having a conversation with the former education minister to Jamaica, journalist and public servant, Reverend Ronald Thwaites. And today we're going to be medsing the recent trending school bags, which see students turning up to school and being turned away for, rocking the bags with the word Dunce boldly written on it.
Sir Thwaites,
Should be interesting.
pleasant morning to you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
It's a joy to have you on the show, and yes, a very topical issue. And I thought about it yesterday as I heard all the arguments. I said, listen, I want to talk to Ronnie about this thing. I
Facts.
want to get Ronnie's perspective on it. Are you affair with all the utterances and the issue at hand?
Reasonably so. Whatever the media has put forward, I'm fairly familiar with.
All right. So, amidst even the recent dress code and grooming guidelines from the ministry, here comes another matter that school administrators are taking an issue with. I tried to go through the grooming and dress code last evening, but it's kind of lengthy, several pages. But it basically tells me that school administrators have the latitude to develop their own guidelines within the context of our socioeconomic situation, our appreciation for culture, and just general trends and what society is putting forward as norms. Here comes the school bag. Here comes a bag with a big dunce on the bag. Are school administrators overreacting to this situation?
I don't think so. Ask yourself the question: why would you carry a bag to school, a place of learning, marking you out as a dunce?
I asked the question and I took it satirically, and that is my perspective. But because I am the type of person to be guided and instructed from those with wisdom, I thought it was instructive to speak with you this morning. So
Sure, and I see no justification for anyone declaring themselves a dunce. That's no credit to anybody. That doesn't lift you up, and school is supposed to do that. So I support the position taken by one of the most renowned and respected principals of high schools in this country, Dr. O'Neill Ankle at Jonathan Grant High School.
All right. So, and I appreciate that perspective. Now, there was never anything when I think of the situation, the students' attire, we understand what the purpose of a uniform is. It serves several functions, among which is to make sure that you're not standing out. It doesn't speak to your socioeconomic background. It doesn't alienate you, and it also represents the school, the institution, at a particular level. It shows that the school is of a certain level. Now, we have issues. We have structured our attire that speaks to even the type of shoe and the sock that you wear. Now, we've never had an issue with the bag that the student carries. How do you see us resolving this issue? More than just a fashion trend, do you see it at a level where parents, having expended the money on these bags, some of them probably costing a couple $1,000, is it now that we're instructing the parents that, listen, this will absolutely not be tolerated, or should there be some leeway into correcting or some dialogue going forward on the situation?
Look, we go to school to enlarge our minds, to contribute to, as well as benefit from the culture. There are a whole lot of changes that are needed in Jamaica's education system to reflect the best ideas of the culture, the history of the majority of our people. However, why would a parent who probably can't afford books expend what appears to be a significant amount of money to label their child on the school bag they buy dunce? What is behind? What is in their mind? To be a talking point, to be different? Well, I don't think that is a laudable approach. And if a school says, look, our effort is to induce excellence in our students. That's the motto of Jonathan Grant. And you're coming in and declaring that there is something good about being a dunce. Following this foul-mouthed gentleman, what's his name? The opposite of Valiant. What is he really trying to say? What is he building on? Yes? What about the values and attitudes? Would you want your child to declare themselves a dunce? I wouldn't. And I would take no pleasure or no satire about that. Come on, man. We have a whole heap to do. As far as the grooming is concerned, provided the clothes are modest and the hairstyle is manageable, I am much more interested in what is in a child's head rather than what is on it. But with our education system, it is less than it should be, friends. And here are we looking at peripheral issues like a label on a school bag and paying money for that, but we won't contribute to our child's education. And government has to come in to be asked to set up a policy. What is in our best interest, please?
Now, Reverend Thwaites, as it relates to the school administrators taking their respective decisions as it relates to either as it relates to sorting out this issue with this whole dunce bag, do you agree with the whole sentiment of restricting children from classrooms when it comes to breaking rules? Because let's say a child does show up with the word dunce on the bag, don't you think taking him or her out of the class kind of adds to the narrative of the whole dunce thing?
I wouldn't put it that way. Dr. Ankle says that he has spoken with parents and students and indicated what is the school's policy. I take it that his recourse to exclude any child who goes there this morning with that dunce bag is an extreme action. I would not want to exclude the child, but figure it out with me, friends. If a principal has said, look here, this is not appropriate in our school. When you come to the school, you have signed a covenant that you're going to abide by the rules of the school. And this is encompassed in it. And you decide that you are going to defy and disobey. What you must do? Make you come and sit down in there and send the message to the whole school that you can do whatever you please? Really? Tell me now.
Agreed with you. There must be consequences for the actions. There must be discipline. It must be maintained. How that is dispensed is the question that has troubled us for a while, and we need to figure that out, because we agree that sending the child home unsupervised might not be the best course of action. But I do agree that discipline discipline must be dispensed.
That is the most extreme position and should be avoided. I want to say almost at all costs. But there is a spirit of defiance about authority and order in our society, brethren. And we believe that we distinguish ourselves in the enslavement of mind that Bob and Marcus spoke about. Yes, that we somehow make a point about ourselves and big up ourselves by defying the rules. There is no merit in that. You cannot base your personal life, nor can you have a wholesome society if that we are doing. So I am really hoping that I expect that someone like Dr. Ankle, who I know personally, would have instructed very clearly, calmly, and firmly the parents of the school, of the children in the school, what is appropriate and what is not. And if they choose to defy it, there will come a point where they cannot be part of that school community any more than if you, I'm sure you both gentlemen head a family, or will do so, that there are certain rules and regulations within the context of as broad a freedom as can be allowed within that, those sets of rules, that you're going to insist take place. This society is, we don't have to repress and do cruel things and banish people and arrest them in order to make the point that there are canons of order, of rules of upbringing, that we're observing them right now in this radio interchange. We're both being very polite to each other. That is part of a rule make that is contingent upon our access to the mass media. It is a similar thing in the schools.
You made the point, Reverend Thwaites, that yes, that the education system is in a state where there are more critical matters to be addressed, and these are just issues around the periphery. We accept that position, and so I wouldn't dwell too deeply on this, but my instinctive response was that this shouldn't have gotten as much airtime. But I take your point that within the context of the school, that if the institution says these are certain values that we want to display, and you walking through this gate displaying dunce is not part of our core values and it will not be tolerated, then it has no place there. I accept that.
Well, thank you. We have a similar position. My concern is how many of those young people who might be minded to buy or to have that bag, what are they doing as far as English and Jamaican Creole language development is concerned? How are they doing in their maths? How are they doing in their information technology? How are they being socialized to be responsible, respectful, loving people? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm interested in. That's what I'd love if we could spend more time talking about.
We will. Shells, any closing remarks with the Reverend?
No problem. Yeah, so that's my final question, Reverend Thwaites. What is your position on giving words power? Because we see, especially in the United States, for example, how they took back such a derogatory term as the N-word and turned it in a term of endearment. Do you think do you accept the narrative that, with Dunce here in Jamaica, it's a similar trait?
No, I don't. I don't, because the use of the N-word has such historical degradation connected with it that I can't see anyone wanting to make fun or endearment by that. Your vocabulary must be very limited if that's what you want. And as far as Dunce is concerned, similarly, because we have too much unfortunate people with or without certification who are dunce in terms of their social consciousness in Jamaica. You don't want to hear more than that. I want to hear. That made my point. Thank you.
You have.
Yeah.
Reverend Thwaites, it's always a joy speaking with you. Looking forward to hearing you on Wednesday for the public eye right here on the 99.
Thanks so much. Blessings.
Take
Big
care.
up, Rev.
All right, Shells. You see, you have to be open to discourse, And as I said, instinctively, I thought it was satirical.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go through the Ministry of Education's recent dress code and grooming ethics, then you understand the position of the school. And so, yes, if the institution says, listen, our mantra
that's it
is this, and you coming through my gate displaying that, goes contrary to what we're trying to achieve, then you can't forward.
And as Rev said, if you can't work with the rules of one institution, you have to find another one. And right now, is that no institution is working with that. So the youth, them, we understand the trend, we understand the vibes, but you at the end of the day, I learning, we said, and you don't want to stay with my not do nothing. So at the least, as it goes back to the whole situation of this issue being so minuscule, it's such a small situation. I feel like the youth, them, it's a no-brainer for us. Nobody rock the bag, go to school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Outside.
Keep that for your
the party outside.
Beach trip on
something then fine. Because, as I say, the youth, them, I've been a teen, you've been a teen, you know the trends, you know the thing go. So the real question is, where does the accountability start?
I think my first consideration when I saw the bag was, would this now set up the youth for somebody go rob him and pop the bag off and back?
That's a part of it. That happened with Jansport.
Yeah,
Jansport,
so that's the first concern I had. I didn't have a concern with the school saying, boy, the bag they can't work. I mean,
I think the only reason why from my side, I knew it was going to be a problem because Dunce is back and because it was already in the whole school thing with Valiant and all of that. Once I saw it come back, I was like, all right, here we go again. You know what I mean?
This song and dance again.
Yeah.
Remember the Bridge Nation chimed in and was wondering, how is it different from, the politicians issuing their branded bags and branded things to the youngsters to go back to school? I wouldn't put that to the Reverend because I think that's a quick, easy response. Yeah, them are promote themselves. They are marketing themselves. They want to show, say, boy, them do something, even if you're not for them, that they supported you in issuing this. If you can do better than carry with them gear, then you do it. But if it is a stop a gap or you really need it, then you go and rock it. It's not speaking to you.
Here's another narrative.
Uh-huh.
Right? Here's another narrative. Because at the first me ever see that bag then, it looked like a one design, right? And I want you me ever see it on, right?
What, the spray ground bag there?
No, I thought the Dunce bag. I got to the Dunce bag, right? Suppose that you designed that bag there.
What if it's the youth that design it?
I don't think anybody ever took the time out to wonder.
They did the research and it's like overseas. So the question is whether it is a local company or if it is part of a overseas. But again, big ups to my people in my little community chat group right here. So may have to go back through a couple messages, but they went and they showed where you had a Dunce brand overseas. So far, I'm gone, Virgin.
Yeah, scroll low.
Yeah, man.
There's an easier way to do that.
Them chat. Oh, search?
I don't know if Android.
That's a good.
That's a ask, you know.
All right, through the one hand operation.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, man, you're good, man.
Yeah, man. Them that show us boy the Dunce thing. There's some brand overseas that has it as well.
Yeah, trust me. I get it, I get it in already, my G. Trust me. And then as Reverend Thwaites say, you as a peer, would you want this? I get it, but at the same time,
for me personally, my youth them,
that
it would be satirical. No, it could have worked because it would be satirical. Because my daughters and son is students.
Facts.
So anybody see them walk through the school gate with a bag said Dunce, and then them are dead with laugh.
Alright, all right, so personally, so she tells me do the trending thing and Ray. You know why I would rock a Dunce shirt, Dunce bag, nothing like that? Because I know where the real meaning I come from and I don't live that life. That's it.
Alright, fair enough.
That's it.
Not because it's a trend and somebody make a mockery of it.
Yeah, and not for doing intelligence. I know where to forward from. And the youth them in the street. And that's the real issue why I'm gonna like the school as I'm a rocket, because I know what to do with badness. You understand what I'm saying? So the youth them Lego the save a bad Lego that. And that's just my issue with the Dunce.
A whole heap of connotations to it.
Yeah, man. But for the wider society, it mean what it mean. And schools have all right for kind of.
So sometimes ignorance is bliss, and sometimes little knowledge is dangerous. I don't know, something like that.
One clamp down, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, there's merit in them clamping down.
Yeah.
All right.
You them forgot school and live.
Yeah. Once I got life to live, air to breathe, and a Dunce bag, I got everything I need.